Hi. Again today, we ask for God's continued healing and strength to be with Shirley for her recovery. It's good to know that in His mercy, God hears our prayer for the sake of the shed blood of Jesus. Nothing we do can limit God's mercy other than refusing it. And in the devotions today from Nehemiah, that refusal is seen repeatedly in the Israelites and their often repeated refusal to follow God's law and covenant. Twice, two times, in the lesson out of Nehemiah today, in chapter 9, verses 22 to 38, the word nevertheless is used. And the first time it's used is in verse 26, which reads this way. Nevertheless, they were disobedient and rebelled against you and cast your law behind their back and killed your prophets who had warned them in order to turn them back to you, and they committed great blasphemies. And this sets up a repeated pattern to what the people of God do to God who gave them great blessings. They rebel. They refuse. They turn away. They kill. They blaspheme. And this goes on and on. And each time, after they cry out to God for mercy and He gives them mercy, they nevertheless refuse to remain faithful. In just these few verses from this one chapter, there are three specific times where this pattern is plainly seen, and then comes the second use of the word nevertheless. And this time it is used to indicate not faithlessness on the part of the people of God, but it points us to God who is and always remains faithful. Faithful to His word, His covenant, and His people. Listen to verse 31. Nevertheless, in your great mercies, you did not make an end of them or forsake them, for you are a gracious and merciful God. Thank God for that second nevertheless. It's wonderful to see the specific phrase that Nehemiah uses to say, you did not make an end of them or forsake them. Though the case has been made for both forsaking and for making an end of the people because of the people's continual, repeated, and persistent rebellion that called for such a response, nevertheless, God is and remains merciful. His mercy and grace are stronger, longer lasting, and infinitely more powerful than His people's rebellion. Think about that. God's mercy is so much more powerful and outlasts our rebellion. And we see that mercy and grace of God played out dramatically in the cross of death that Jesus bore and in His resurrection to new life. That new life is promised to us eternally. And His death pays the punishment that we, like the Israelites, so justly deserved. We know ourselves to be repeatedly rebellious just as they were. But nevertheless, thanks be to God that He, in His mercy and grace, overcomes, outlasts, and welcomes back all people who will receive His grace through that blood of Jesus shed on that cross. For it is there where we see and experience the end of our rebellion and the eternal quality of God's kindness. God's persistent peace be with us all today. Goodbye.